What's up, people? It's been a while since I've uploaded another video on my channel. So today, I would like to give you a nice tutorial on FilteringEnabled. And the reason why I have to give you this tutorial is the fact that this is for the safety of your Roblox game. Because the fact that hackers can actually inject a lot of inappropriate content to take down your game if you don't turn it on. So let me turn it on. Now, FilteringEnabled, what is it? The property itself actually determines whether changes on the client can be replicated across the whole server. Which means if you turn this off, then the hacker just can make changes and all the other players can actually see it. And they will say, oh, I go hacks. Well, it's not a joke. Trust me, it's very scary. For new players, I don't think you'll be able to script a nice game that can be compatible even when FilteringEnabled is on. Because the fact that it is something that is very complex. And in my opinion, I think this is for those that have already experienced what scripting is like. So here is a nice example I've set up. Here is a brick that gives you $50, I remembered. Yes, $50. To the player, which can be shown on the leaderboard here. That gives you $20 when you enter the game. And here is a gravity coil that can be given to the player if you just click the gravity coil button. However, it requires you to pay $50, which means your amount of money can be deducted upon clicking this button, and you can get a gravity coil to play around. Yay! So I have this local script here that runs only on the client, and this is for the text button, which gives you the gravity coil, and you have to pay the money. Now, let's say that I'm gonna script this button so that it gives you the gravity coil when you have enough money. And let me script a few more variables. So say player money goes to player. Okay, so I'm back, and I have scripted one more variable for the money that the player has. So now let's begin scripting. However, what I'm showing you is actually a very bad example, and I will show you why after I finish scripting this. So wait a second, yet again. Okay, I guess we're done here. So let's take a look and test it. Now, normally you would run a test that using Play Solo. However, when you're testing features that requires the FilteringEnabled to be applied, you're gonna need to open up a local server. So let's go and try it out. Okay. So I have my client, or you can say .player, and let me click this, of course. However, yeah, this warning does not come from this button. However, it comes from infinite yielding. Sorry about it. It comes from infinite yielding. As you can see, it's infinite yield possible on server storage with a child gravity coil. And why? Because take a look at this explorer for the client itself here.
What's the gravity coil, you might ask? Well, that's one of the many problems. Now, server storage can be only accessed, or it can only be viewed by the server. So as you see, the server can see that the gravity coil is in server storage. However, the client cannot. This is because server storage, this service is actually server-sided, which means only server scripts can access the server storage and the gravity coil, of course. Now let's exit, and hopefully this thing won't crash, because it has crashed a lot of times when I was trying to record. Phew, close enough. So now here's the big problem. If you cannot actually access the gravity coil in server storage, how are you gonna do that? How are you gonna notify a server script to actually make the purchase for you? Well, this is where two important objects come into hand. In replicated storage, which can be sided or both client and server, let's add an object called a remote event and a remote function. Well, let's start with the remote event anyways, and let's call it process purchase, because we're trying to process the purchase of this gravity coil. Now, what does our remote events do? Our remote events can actually help when you're trying to communicate between server and client, which means you want to send a nice signal to the server to indicate that the player wants to make this purchase, so that the server can check for the client to see if he has enough money, and it will just give them the gravity coil from server storage, because the server storage can be accessed by the server scripts, of course. Now let's delete the code, and let's try again actually. So I'm gonna delete all of these, and then I'm gonna define some new variables. We're back. Good, so I guess that's enough, and I'm gonna fire this event. But how do you fire it? Well, there are two methods: fire server and fire client. And in this case, because we're firing to the server, we're gonna use fire server. And what are the parameters that you're supposed to fill in? Well, it depends on the listener. So let's add a script on the server, script service, and let's call it remote, or remote handler. Call it. I'm gonna take out the hello world, and let's begin scripting. So of course I'm gonna speed things up, and I'm just gonna go ahead and copy and paste these two variables. Good. Now, how does the server actually handle the signal? Well, there's an event like any other instances that you can connect to the function, or to one function, of course. You can connect multiple functions through one event, of course, but in this case, we're just going to connect one, which is on server event, because the server is about to receive a signal from the client. And right now in this case, we don't set any parameters. so you don't need to fill in anything. However, there's one important parameter before it has other parameters that are sent from the client, which is the player or the client who actually fired this remote event. In the case that the remote event is actually fired from one client to the server. Now, what do you do next? Of course, you're gonna need to maybe give it a little check. So let's go ahead and check something. Of course, I think I made a little mistake in here, because I'm gonna actually, maybe I want to check before you send it to the server. However, let me define a few variables again. Go back. Okay, good. Sorry about that. So right now we have defined a player money variable again, because I'm gonna need to show you another bad example when you're using features of filtering enabled, like remote events and remote functions, which I'll be explaining in a few moments. So let me add an if statement saying if the value of player money is bigger or equal to the amount of money. Good. So then, after it fires the events to the server, let's give the gravity coil, which I'll be defining them again. Good. Now let me clone the gravity coil. Actually, let's define the backpack for the player, because I think that really works. Excuse me. Good, there you go. So now the gravity coil will be cloned and it will be parented to the backpack after this event is fired. So let's test it out on the client, shall we? So let me get this. There we go. We're just gonna have to wait a while. Good, my client is here. Yep, hooray. Now, here's my client, which is called player 1, or player in this case. So now I'm gonna click, but nothing happens because I don't have enough money. Then I'm gonna get this. Now I have $70, which is over 50, so I'm gonna click it. And I have my gravity coil. However, we're actually not done yet. And the reason why is because hackers can do very bad things to your game so that they can get what they wanted. Now, here's an example. However, before that, let me show you one more problem. Firstly, yes, for the player itself, the money is actually 20. However, on the server, unless maybe there's some phenomenon I haven't seen, it's actually still 70, because changes on the client is already ignored by the server, and the server refused to change the value of the player's money to 20, because plus the change comes from a local script, which is our client, which is from the client. So let's clean up and let's fix the code a little bit. Of course, there's one more thing. If you don't even know, you can actually hack this Yes, the clients can actually hack by injecting this code to the server. There you go. That is a hacker's way to get gravity coils without even making a purchase, which, of course, you as a developer would not like to see that. So let's fix up the code and try again later. Now, what are you supposed to do? Well, one of the ways is to actually make the server check and deduct the money for you, instead of just going ahead and, I don't know, do whatever you want. So here, I'm just gonna firstly cut and paste this code. Then I'm gonna delete this, cut this. Oh, sorry, it's supposed to be a remote handler. And I'm gonna add this. Ooh. However, now how are you able to actually see the player's money? Of course, firstly, define a few variables before you even get to I don't know, do some coding here. So firstly, add the player's backpack. I'm gonna keep it. Then the player money equals to PL. Actually, I have a better idea. Yep. Let's put this here. And change this to PLR. Now, next, how are you able to fix the undefined variables for amounts of money? That's where your periodic parameters come out when you're using the remote event. Now, in this case, I'm just gonna get amounts of money in here. And I'm also gonna fill in the parameter with this argument amount of money, which is 50 in here. So now we're able to clone this to a backpack. Yay! Now let's go ahead and test it out.
Just gonna wait for the client to load again. Yeah, can be quite annoying, but you're gonna have to deal with this because this is for the sake of your game's safety. Okay, the client is quickly loaded. I'm happy, very happy. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. Now, let's take a look at the server. The server can see the change as well. However, another problem will always rise when it comes down to changing code. And the problem is the hacker can actually confuse the remote events for the price to be changed, such as maybe adding money, such as $5,000. I'm just gonna add this. Yeah, I'm just using my notepad just to speed things up. Let's take a look. Look at this. Now the hacker can even actually get $5,000 more than the other players. And look at the server. It also shows 50-20. That is a huge problem when you're passing on parameters. Or you can say you're passing on the arguments to the server, because that's what you don't want. You want them to actually pay $50 legitimately. So let's go fix up some more code. And this time, we're gonna make use of module scripts so that the server can actually check to see if the player has enough money according to the module scripts in server script service, of course, because in replicated storage, the hacker can actually change the values in the module script. Again, don't trust the client. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. So here is my way of dealing with the problem. To add a module script and name it prices. Of course, and the reason why I added this to the server script service is because the fact that the server script service is actually server-sided only, which means only server scripts are able to access this, which is very good because the hacker won't be able to make changes to it. Now, let's say make prices. Yeah, let's return the prices. And let's make this here. And then I'm gonna type in gravity coil equals to 50. Okay, that's all for now. Using module scripts, you're going to have to return exactly one value, which means you cannot return 2, you cannot return 5, you cannot return 100. Well, that is not possible at all. However, you can only return 1. So that's why it is best if you return that as an array or a dictionary, or you can say tables in this case. So let me exit this. And now, in this remote handler, I'm gonna make some more variables because they actually can help save your fingers one day. Now, in this case, server script service, because we are now because this script is parented to the server script service, you can just reference it using script.parent. Now we can do the prices equals to, let's require, using require, this will call the module script here. Awesome, right? Now, in this case, it's going to be server script service, wait for child, prices. Oops, there you go. This will make the reference to the module script and call it so that the module can return the prices here, and this will be stored as a dictionary after requiring the module. Now, how are you supposed to know that you're able to pay the money? So firstly, let's delete the parameter for the amount of money, because this is not necessary right now, which means I'm able to delete this variable as well, because it's already stored in the in the module script that it can be referenced for maybe very sensitive information such as prices. Very good storage, and if you put that in server script service, it is guaranteed to provide huge protection against hackers, because hackers are clients, however they cannot access server-sided services, and that's why Roblox provided this server script service, just to store your server scripts and to make sure that the clients or hackers don't actually hack them. Now, to get the price, we just have to reference that to the prices. Oh, sorry. Let's say we just have to use the same variable, amount of money. You can also change the variables, however, that's the fastest way. Prices dot gravity coil, because in the dictionary it has the gravity coil index and has the value of 50, and we're trying to get the value
so we're just gonna index it like any other property. Well, at least that's how Roblox actually creates all these instances, including the services, and they actually make working methods. Well, of course, that is the use of meta tables. However, in this case, we're just talking about FilteringEnabled, so why even care? Now, back here, I don't think we have any other changes. So let's go ahead and test it out, shall we? Gonna wait for the clients to appear again. Hopefully my computer won't get, I don't know, destroyed for doing that. Of course not, because I have a lot of memory left on my computer. Okay, good. Now, here's my client. I'm gonna go and get some money. Yay, money. And then here is my gravity coil. Even the server can see it. Because now it works because the server is able to reference the module in ServerScript service, which is right here. It can be viewed by the server only. Now, however, the clients won't be able to reference to the ServerScript service. Now, let's try hacking it. And in this case, I'm going to delete the -5,000 because that is not necessary. Huh. Where is the gravity coil, the hacker may ask? Well done. You have taken enough action to actually prevent hackers from hacking a shop. And what's the reason for this thing to not work? This is because even when the hacker actually injected the code to actually fire the event, you didn't trust the clients, which means you're still checking whether the client has enough money to buy the gravity coil, and you have used the module scripts to actually store what the prices are actually supposed to be. So therefore, nothing's hacked, and the hacker won't be able to hack the shop. So that is the end of the tutorial. I hope you like it. Please leave a like and subscribe. Well, hopefully I'll be able to make more videos during the summer holiday, and I'll be able to finish up the shop renovation on my Run or Explode game. See you guys then.